All right, welcome back. Yesterday we learned some notation. We did some notes, right? Today, okay, I'm gonna try to get some grades back to you. I know we need them. Uh, you can finish the notation and turn it in, and then after that we have a notation puzzle or two that you can work on. Okay, if you're all caught up. Okay, if you're caught up and I'm not, I'm gonna work on it. We're gonna get there. Okay, but let's do this warm up. Okay, for today. Make sure you wrote down the blue sentence as usual, and then drawing and defining. So, did you draw some parallel lines? What do we know about parallel line? What do y'all think?
What does parallel mean?
Two lines that, right? So, do they cross or no? They do not cross. Um, they go forever and they do not intersect. Very good. Okay. So they could be going any direction as long as they're going the same direction. Like this is an example. Now, here's the deal. Lines could look like that and still not be parallel. If they're like slightly 1 degree, angled in, they could eventually cross, right? So here's what we need to do. So we need to have our notation correct. So make sure when you draw parallel lines like this, you put a little arrowhead that lets me know that this is parallel, okay? And if you see that on a picture, then you know they're parallel. We're going to learn things this year that imply there are implications of parallel lines that you got to know, but it only works if you see those symbols, okay? Now, perpendicular. Now, I've had people tell me perpendicular means that they intersect, which is a partial truth, okay? Yes, perpendicular intersect, but what kind of lines do they make? What kind of angle do they make? 90 degrees is correct. Right angles is correct. However you want to say it. But it's not just intersecting. Okay. That's called oblique or something else. Okay. But perpendicular are intersecting at 90 degrees, right? Now, last part says segment. Does everyone remember segment has no arrowheads? It has endpoints. So you got two endpoints. Okay. Now, bisector, two sector cut into two equal parts, two equal halves. It's got to hit right here in the middle. What is this point called in the middle?
Not Malcolm, I know that.
What do you call this point in the middle? Point in the middle. Midpoint. Midpoint is correct. Okay, so it is a point in the middle. It's a middle point. It's midpoint for short. That's the vocab word on our vocab. But midpoint is where the segment bisector cuts it in half. If you look back at your notes, a bisector can be more than one thing. It could be a segment, it could be a line, it could be a ray, it could even be a plane. But things that go through the midpoint, okay? So check it out. I'm going to draw an example with a line going through the midpoint. Now here's the question. How do I know this point is the midpoint? Is it just because it looks like it's pretty much kind of in the middle? There are indicators, and here's your indicator. Draw this, please. Tick marks. I call these little tick marks, but those are little marks that let you know that those are congruent segments. And if they're congruent, that means it's cut in half. And if it's cut in half, that means this is the midpoint, which makes this a segment bisector, okay? Is everyone hearing me say that it's got to go through the midpoint? You got to have the tick marks for it to be a segment bisector, okay? And since it is Wednesday, you want to swirl, interact with one another, okay? Your elbow partner or buddy somewhere near you, okay? About what are those definitions? How would you define parallel in your own words? How would you define perpendicular in your own words? And how would you define a segment bisector in your own words, okay? Well, again, we want to finish this from yesterday. Notation, turn it in. And then I got a puzzle for you to do. You can do make sure you put your name on it, okay? Or you can do the puzzle side that says, what does a cat need to play baseball? There's a riddle there, okay? So I want to make sure you finish what you've been assigned first, and then you can work on this. Sound like a plan? Here we go.